Christmas Day.
No,
Might want to give that to Mr.
I talked to the mayor about that briefly. Actually, I guess Dale's lady sent me an email about it,
I'll be
but
gone.
they set up 3 days before the sale dates start, not before discharge, and sale dates start 17th or something like that. 15th.
Who's speaking?
So it's not,
The 15th of December?
yeah, or 17th. I'll have to look it up, but it's 3 days before that
Look,
date.
if you would, if you don't mind, look it up real quick, because I need
Yeah.
to make sure that we just want to move it to the 20th anyway. Yeah, make sure they got plenty of time to.
Good job.
Well, it's in the zoning ordinance, so that's a
Oh, well,
process.
that's what I was gonna look at, but I couldn't get into my.
That's a process to change.
So you want
If
me
it's
to?
the 17th, everything's fine.
Give me just a second.
This house in Turkey, right, Mr. Williams?
Yes, I think so. If not, I'll use it.
Okay.
That's the second time I heard you use that word.
When I was in the Navy, I used to have to
Yeah,
go
we-
to the agency office and just, for that time, a new agents. I said, how are you gonna interpret it? You just tell me how you want it enforced. And one of them looked at me and said, you can argue it. I said, I'm not. I said, cause you're always gonna need help.
We gotta get all the
Time, you don't need help.
Is that one of your guys?
I don't see anything.
I don't, I know that Chandra.
She ranks, let's.
One of them, tunnel van. So you should have.
He's out of town.
They were gonna bust a juke joint down south. Cause he rode horses and wore a cowboy hat.
I'm sure,
yeah.
He knows.
So they said, we're gonna wire you up and send you, they were selling some illegal whiskey, in other words.
I don't, I'd well be.
Bootleg, they made it.
Because the first.
They waited.
The first 2/3 of it.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, where's Drew?
Go in, and to fit in, he just started drinking with them, and he was at the karaoke machine singing your shit. But he was the agent.
Make sure he's okay.
Did he tell you we were going to midnight?
He said he got it.
You know where I'm coming.
Hey, Miss Leslie,
I do know. How are you?
how are you?
Yeah, I also have that.
I know everybody's saying that too late about it.
Takes the legislature to vote on it.
For the governor to sign.
As soon as you turn on that close tab,
Sort of like, yeah, well.
I said,
You'd have to do director and be a Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, no, but that'd be a good one. Yeah, so it'll have to go through the legislative process and it's January, February, March, whatever. Probably won't go into effect until July 1.
What's your big?
What is she doing?
Too late.
Hey, Mr. Glenn.
Other people.
You sit there.
I'm listening. I'm trying to look up something for Dave at the same time.
Did you ever talk to that fellow that?
I talked to him this morning on his way to New
You know,
York.
we,
I can't vote.
we
Y'all
went in,
get along pretty good.
Yeah, we'll talk again next week.
but no city employees.
We have like a Broadway player, Broadway or you?
Hey, Ms.
Yeah, something like that, that's what.
Yeah, we're fixing to have a board.
I'm trying
So if the
I'm
mayor's
trying to
not,
join
yeah, we wouldn't have a quorum.
the one way.
Yeah, when you join the Civic Society, we meet here twice a month.
Yo, well, I'm already part of that one.
Okay.
The,
Remind me tomorrow.
Oh, excellent.
So
We
I
need
can
to
see
wrap
if I
it
can
up
be part
by
of it.
6.
We have to wrap it up.
How are you? Long time no see.
Yes,
I would have the vote and then
I,
we would have a.
I really want to see
You'd
you.
still be three, it wouldn't be two.
Yeah,
I never put
but it's.
Yeah.
Subtle theater is awesome.
That's right.
I really love it. I love
We
it.
can wrap
I
it
love
up.
it.
All right.
You do tap dance.
And then that's like.
I haven't started, that's a long
I never heard.
How's it going?
Hey.
I'm doing good. How are you?
Something we couldn't leave towards home.
Only male. I have one named Wiley. He's young. He's about maybe 7 months old.
I'm leaving.
I think we can get out of here by
Yeah, we
6:20.
You might
Hey,
mention
Mr.
that.
Dale.
Well, it depends on whatever the, planning, it's 6 o'clock now, if you want to get.
All right.
right.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the Horn Lake Board of Aldermen to order. As all of us always say, good government depends on the citizens being involved, and we certainly thank each and every one of you for coming out here tonight. All right, at this time, I'd like to call on, who would like to do the invocation?
Danny?
Go ahead, Alderman.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you tonight to just be a servant of you,
and thank you for everything that you've done for us.
leadership
You
and
provided this city,
direction
the direction that we're going.
Dear God, let us all know what this season is about. It is about Emmanuel. Dear God, just bless us all. Keep us in your
Thank you, Alderman. Will you all please stand up for the pledge of allegiance, led by Alderman David Young.
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
We said it twice.
Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Klein.
Here.
Alderman Geis. Here. Alderman Dupree. Young. Here.
We have a quorum. Before we begin, I'd like y'all all to remember in the prayers Alderman Bledsoe, who's ill, and pray for his recovery. And Alderman Johnson lost her mother last Thursday or Friday. So please remember Alderman Johnson and her family in your prayers. The visitation for her mother is this Friday night from 4 to 6 at Bullard's Chapel down there on Baldwin Road. And the funeral will be at 11 o'clock Saturday morning at Dean Chapel down there on Dean Road. So please remember them in your prayer. Yes, sir.
Where's the visitation again?
At Bullard's Chapel, it's on Baldwin Road. Little small church way out there.
Could someone send us an email with that?
Mr. Jim, could you send an email out tomorrow, please, about the arrangements for Ms. Johnson's mother? All right. Number one, vote on the municipal docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
A motion by Alderman Geis, second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. All right, number 2 is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda items A through H and J through N, excluding letter I.
Excluding letter I, were we moving that to new business? Or just striking it all together? All right. We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second? Second. Second by Alderman Klein. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 4 in favor, none opposed. Number 3 is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the claims docket, general fund, $208,530.59. The library fund, $13,019.08. The economic development fund, $619.72. The utility fund, $907,399.76. For a total docket of $1,129,542.15.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein,
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. All right, we're on number 4, special district presentations. And we're honored to have with us tonight Mr. Dale Wilson of American Events. Yes, sir.
Austin's gonna speak on my behalf, and he wants to address the, Nail Road, Pepper Chase interchange.
All right, sir. Mr. Austin, I didn't see you hiding there.
Yes, sir. Can I pass this out to your?
Yes, sir, but this meeting, unfortunately, I have to leave at 6:45,
Okay.
because some of them were absent. The meeting's gotta be over by 6:45,
You got it.
okay?
I ain't gonna take long.
We figured Alderman Klein was gonna step up, and some of the other aldermen were absent, and, couldn't help it.
It was in the
Kind
board
of threw
packet.
everything out of kilter.
We put that in the board packet too, Mr.
Do I know?
It was in the
It's in
board
the
packet
packet?
too, yeah.
I didn't know that.
They may not have bring a product.
All right, so we wanted to just talk about this Nail Road and Pepper Chase extension, briefly. So we've laid out kind of a rough timeline of, our urge or just kind of our general concern about this to be a 24 project. And so we've just kind of briefly laid out, a timeline with we've got some dates here to be determined, but, kind of just starting with, completion of construction plans. So with it being December, in the construction world, it's wet. It's a great time to get some plants knocked out for the spring when we can put a stake in the ground and get started. So we've got a completion of construction plans kind of lined out for January at some point, running concurrently with, MDEQ, approvals and such, shortly thereafter. And then to be followed by the right-of-way procurement for, I think it's, 3 properties, Horn Lake four-wheeler, the Expediter property, and then the Horn Lake Business Center being, Core 5. And then to be followed by to be determined dates of staking and then construction and then, end of construction. So we just wanna kind of bring this topic back up. As y'all know, this part of town is hot, it's exploding, there's a lot going on between our project, Market 55, Core 5, and we have a lot of users extremely interested in the acreage there running along I-55. They all ask one question: when's the road gonna be done? So, I think it's beneficial to everyone if we can bring this back up to the top of our list and try to tackle this project, get it going, and set some hard dates on engineering, when we can, start, staking the project out and when we can begin construction. I know there's some, items we gotta tackle with South Haven. I know that's a big part of this, but just wanna bring this back up to start talking about this again. And I can't stress enough that the interest in the site, it's a great site, it's got great visibility, but like I said, every question is, when's the road gonna be done? When's the road gonna be done? When's the road gonna be done? So that's gonna be the driving force in this project. The sky's the limit for what can go there. It could be phenomenal. So it's a great site, like I said, can't ask for better visibility for a user. So a lot of interest, but we gotta have a road. So just wanna bring this back up and kind of spur some conversation on what we need to do to get started. What we can do, how we can help, and kind of figure out whose court the ball is in.
Well, Mr. Vince and Mr. Mark, is it Sowell or Sewell? Sewell. And I met with Mayor Musselwhite and Mr. Dan, and then another man from South Haven yesterday. And Mayor Musselwhite was gonna bring it up to his board tonight, get discussion, get the ball rolling again, trying to get that thing, but, he told me he would call me tomorrow or Thursday, let me know what transpired during their meeting.
Okay.
But I know this board is already backing this project 110%. And they're just as eager as y'all are to get it going. And to change subjects right quick, thank y'all for the coat giveaway.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You've helped a lot of kids and adults in Horn Lake through your generosity. And we like having good corporate business partners, and y'all certainly are. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions or discussion for Mr. Austin or Mr. Dale? But that's what it is right now. He's gonna bring it up to their board tonight and just see their feelings there.
Okay. So once we get that information from South Haven, what is our next step as far as getting the construction plans complete?
Our next step would have to be contingent on what South Haven wants to do.
Okay.
Because there's no use in us building down further until we know when they're gonna hook on. And the county has said they would commit $300,000 to help along on this project. They haven't actually voted that, and there's gonna be a new board in January down there. So I feel like they will still back it, but I can't speak for them because it's gonna be one person different down there.
Okay.
But I hope that brings y'all up to speed. That's what we know as of yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
Anybody have any questions or comments? Okay, we have a proclamation here. Whereas a healthy pregnancy and a baby are a blessing. Mothers and babies in the United States are facing an urgent health crisis. And whereas the U.S. remains on the list as one of the most dangerous developed nations for childbirth. 1 in 10 babies are born prematurely each year. It is the leading cause of death among newborns. And whereas preterm babies face lifelong birth defects and intellectual disabilities as a consequence of being born too soon. And whereas premature births affect 1 in 7 babies in Mississippi, over 5,000 babies were born premature last year. And whereas on the March of Dimes 2022 report card, Mississippi received an F rating that has a 14.8% preterm birth rate. DeSoto County has a 14.1 preterm birth rate and received an F rating on the March of Dimes report card. And whereas organizations such as Dedified Beta Sorority Incorporated, Pi Beta Zeta Chapter South Haven, and the City of Horn Lake are working as part of the Healthy Moms, Strong Babies campaign to improve the health of moms and babies. Whereas November was Premature Awareness Month, and we ask that everyone please continue to pray for and remember and support efforts to improve this situation. Thank you. All right. Number 5, Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew Hopkinsmith. Excuse me, we have 2 Andrews now. Case number?
This is case number 2023-27. It's a subdivision final plat. It's a request for a 1-lot subdivision final plat known as Westbury Square South for a commercial development in the form of a restaurant with the drive-through land use at 4323 Goodman Road West within the city of Horn Lake by Dell Wilson, landowner, and Mendrop Engineering, Greg Smith Engineering Company for land zoned as planned unit development consisting of approximately 3.78 acres. Here's the vicinity map with the zoning around it, and the parcel that we're looking at tonight right here is just south of Goodman Road. This is in a PUD with many other fast food restaurants next to it. Next slide, please. And you can actually go to the drawing itself. So those previous slides, they were just the exact quotes from the ordinance. If you want to go back to that, we can go back to that if there's any details. And so just a quick background, this is the final plat that was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission. This presentation is exactly as it was presented to the Planning Commission, and there was only 3 things that we found that should be amended to this plat, and the developer and the engineers and architects, everybody agreed to go ahead and work on these changes right now. So one of them is this driveway that comes down right here. That's drawn as is. If you go out to the site, that's actually how it looks right now. After the project's done, that driveway is not gonna be there. It's gonna be closer to the west right here, and it's gonna dip down and turn into the drive-through. But this is perfectly fine. We did not have a problem with this. It's allowed to be, it's allowed to show what's there now. And as long as the, whoever's drawing up the plat, as long as they put a note saying this is what's here now, and what's going to come is a driveway on the west side, and that this will disappear after the development's done.
This is the Chick-fil-A, isn't it, Mr. Anderson?
Yes, sir. This is for the Chick-fil-A. You can go to the next slide, please. Yeah, we usually don't say explicitly like the company and just like we like to stick to just the technicalities, but this is the Chick-fil-A. This is the plat notes. The developer, Mark Campbell with Chick-fil-A, they all already know about this. We've already talked to them about it, and they're already going to change it. But we just have to go through the formal process and just point out that the original plat notes showed that the water and sewer service will be provided by the city of Olive Branch, and that we told them that just to fix the notes, and that the water will be provided by Walls Water Association, and that the city will provide a gravity sewer on the north side of the property. And that's the only issues we found in the plat notes. Everything else on the plat itself is perfectly fine. It's a little bit simpler. Some companies can get really specific, some can go really simple. They chose to go with the more simple, straightforward plat, and the county's going to be fine with recording it that way. So we have a possible motion. After reviewing case 2023-27 SDFP, a request for a one-lot subdivision final plat known as Westbury Square South for a commercial development in the form of a restaurant with a drive-through land use at 4323 Goodman Road West within the city of Horn Lake by Dale Wilson, landowner, and Mendrop Engineering, Greg Smith Engineering Company for land zoned as planned unit development consisting of approximately 3.78 acres. The Board of Aldermen can approve the plat with the following conditions. Number one, that the plat will get corrected to reflect the correct water and sewer services. Number two, that the plat will show a note explaining the existence and future removal of the driveway. And number three, the plat will show sidewalks as currently drawn on the submitted site plans. And they were okay with that part. It's on the approved site plan that the Planning Commission looked at. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.
Anybody on the board have any questions? Alderman Young.
Two things. Why is it, you've got number 2 and number 3 there. The plat will show a note explaining the existence and future removal of the driveway. Is that not already in the?
It wasn't specified on the plat itself. It was drawn on there, but we just wanted actual wording explaining why it was drawn that way and where the future driveway is going to be.
Well, you realize that they're not going to sign off on that, right?
Well, why is that?
Because you're projecting into the future.
Well,
they don't project into the future. They deal with, what if we do that?
We're referring to the site plan.
What if we come in there and they say, okay, the driveway's gonna go here and it moves 10 inches the other way? You know what that's gonna do? They're gonna come back to planning.
Well, we're gonna let them write it as general as they want on, like, if you're talking about.
Why don't we just remove that and just leave it on the original plat?
You can do that too, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. And the second one is the plat will show sidewalks that's currently drawn. If they're already shown on the plan, we don't need to reproduce that, because there again, if we have to move them or adjust them because of water or this, that, and the other, they're going to come back and start this process all over again. So let's just eliminate 2 and 3 and leave it with the original drawings, because nobody's gonna sign off on what may happen in the future. If it happens, they're gonna come to you anyway and tell you that it's gonna happen, and then we can address it as a board.
I think
I
that
think it will, I think it will move this, we've jacked around with these gazillion-dollar company long enough. And I just think if we can get rid of 2 and 3, I think the motion's fine, but we need to do away with 2 and 3 and make this thing move along.
I mean, I think that would be fine
They're
because.
gonna come back to us anyway if something changes.
I believe so. I
I
believe
believe they
would.
will. I mean, they usually do what they say they're gonna do.
We were just trying to look for, just make sure that it matches with what the site plan
We've
is
had
showing.
enough mud in that water. We just need to keep the water as clear as we can right now. And I just think that if something changes, I seriously believe Mr. Wilson and Mr. Austin would come back before this board and say, hey, we had to move it 6 inches or 6 feet or 20 feet or what, or it's not going there. Then we've got a problem to discuss. Right now, all we're doing is throwing mud in the water to darken it. And I don't think that's a good way to do
So
it. But I appreciate it.
You're comfortable with just number 1, scratch off 2 and 3?
I believe as long as Chick-fil-A sticks to the site plan that was approved by the planning commission, then the plat can be approved as the way y'all see fit.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I'll make a motion, we go ahead and approve case number 2023-27 SDFP as written with removal of stipulation 2 and 3.
We have a motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second? Who seconded? Alderman Dupree, second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I do have
Yes, sir.
one item and probably one addition to add to number 1 there. This area is just like the areas that to the east of there, and we've run into this problem before, but the city has a sewer force main that runs along the north property of that, along,
We don't have a force main there, it's gravity. Once it gets to McDonald's, it turns into gravity.
it's still there, okay?
Yeah,
Still-
we got a gravity line, but not a force
Okay.
main.
Well,
It's all the way from McDonald's.
you still need an easement for it though, don't you?
Yeah, we need an easement for the sewer main.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's shown on that plan, is the engineer here for that?
He's not.
Okay. Maybe if we could just condition that, if the easement for that sewer line be shown on the plat, if it's not already.
So we are gonna be adding, number 1, we're gonna show where the water and sewer service is on the plat. We're gonna update the plat to show that. The reason, we don't want, just as Dave said, to add 2 and 3 is, surveyors hate the word future because they don't, what if Chick-fil-A comes back next week and says, you know what, we're fine with the curb cut where it is, and then we have a final plat, we have to go back and replat.
I'm not arguing for those.
I'm just, number 1, we are gonna update that to show the correct water and sewer services and make that Walls Water Association.
Well, I'm speaking beyond just the provider. We have a sewer line out there that runs along Goodman Road that either needs to be confirmed that it's shown on the plat or needs to be added to the plat.
It's gonna be added.
You said you had something else, Mr. Campbell.
That was it.
That was it. Are you gonna add that to your motion?
Add that to the motion.
Is your second still good, sir? Any more discussion? Mr. Jim, roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. All right. Moving on down, number 6 is new business. The first item is a resolution for claiming private property. That is a public hearing, which is now open. All right. Find my paperwork in this mountain up here. This is a public hearing for a resolution to claim private property that owner is not taken care of. They're asking the board, the code enforcement's asking the board for the authority to go in and clean it up. Is there anybody to speak yea or nay on this property or any of these properties? Anybody? Mr. George?
I have a neighbor right next to me on Valley Brook and Valley Brook Cove. When these people moved in.
Mr. George, can I interrupt you? We're having a public hearing just on the the properties listed here right now.
This is about the property that needs cleaning.
It has to be specific in this resolution. Is this the property in the resolution, Mr. George? No, I don't, if it's on Valley Brook, it's not it.
It's not in a resolution.
No, sir, this property, but if you'd be nice enough after the meeting to bring it to the attention of our code department and let them go over there and research that for you.
Look at that, the renters had cut cleaning up the property. The homeowners never touched them. It was rented out like that.
All right, yes, sir, but if you wanna tell code about it when we get through.
Yeah, I don't think the renters should have to clean up something that was,
Yeah,
if
but
it like that to
this,
start with.
this is a public hearing just on this one
All right.
specific.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. George. Anyone else? All right, Mr. Andrews?
So I was informed by the code enforcement supervisor right before this meeting that the address here at 4158 Highgate Drive has been cleaned up. In between the time from when this was put on the agenda to today, it has been cleaned. So that's all I've got on that.
Anyone else have anything? Well, if it's been cleaned, then we can just close this, can't we?
We can.
Sir, Alderman Dupree.
What we've done in the past, we've left it on the resolution in case something happens in the future, so then it can be brought back up.
You got what you were going to say?
Well, I was gonna say, Mayor, it's not in a state of uncleanliness now, so there's really no need to take any action on it, but we have done that in the past before.
Would y'all like to pursue the course like Alderman Dupree said?
Leave it on there, we can verify it.
All right. Any more comments? All right, public hearing is now closed. We have a motion, please.
Make the motion to clean private property.
We have a motion by Alderman Dupree. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Geis. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree. Alderman Young.
Motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. Letter B, a resolution requiring compliance with state and federal procurement law. Do we have to have a public hearing on this? All right. Okey dokey. Do anybody have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the resolution requiring compliance with state and federal procurement law.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second? Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Mr. Campbell, you have anything?
No, sir.
Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree. Alderman Geis. Alderman Klein.
All right, motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. Letter C, this pertains to our police department. Do we have a motion?
Well, Mayor, I just asked that go on just as discussion, just so you will know, we don't have to spend a long time on it. Just to prepare you that this could be a potential change order. And we put the documents in the packet, that showed, what, Chief Poland is looking to do with the old evidence room. You know, there was always discussion early on when the plans were being drawn up, of what to do with that, but nothing was ever decided. But they've got a great plan now, and the chief may want to speak on that. But it was just to prepare you all that they are working up a price for a change order. And if Alderman Bledsoe is listening, the C word is mentioned here, so I know he doesn't like change orders, but I just wanted you to be looking at that and thinking of that, so I'll be quiet.
Thank you, sir. Chief, would you like to speak to the board and to the citizens?
Yes, sir, now that Mr. Jim has
Very young, but.
thrown me under the bus, I was gonna call this an allowance and not a change order, so, I was told this could be presented as part of the allowance, and not much would be pulled from the allowance, so this was originally labeled as the fitness room, and as I've basically got a team of people that are researching and reaching out and visiting other departments to see what we would need to do for body cameras. So part of that, and where we've asked them where they felt like they went wrong, or where they would have preferred to do things different on the front end, was space. And one issue they ran into early on was not realizing that they needed the space for the docking stations, to review, to redact the video, things like that. So we want to maximize the space of this room. While the fitness room sounds great, and absolutely we could use it, we just would, versus having the room for the body cameras, and also we would essentially split that room and make it half evidence processing and half body camera viewing, and also viewing for DUI video, things like that come about with the court department. So right now at this point, prosecutors, defense attorneys, and the judge are having to go into the squad room and watch DUI video. So what we'd like to do with this room is, like I said, split it down the middle. It would literally be adding a wall down the middle of the room, adding another door, leaving half of the room as it is for evidence processing, so that stays secure to hang up bloody clothes, wet clothes to dry, whatever it may be. Also, fingerprint dust will stay contained in that half of the room, while the other half is secure with body camera footage, DUI footage, whatever else we're needing to view. And we would maximize that space in a much more beneficial way. So that's the plan. I've met with the superintendent from the construction company, and I met with the architect, and we sat down and discussed. It will come down to adding the sprinkler head and lighting, things like that, the electrical outlets, which they've worked up. So again, I'll call it an allowance, but I do want to. I want to use the space as best we can, and also I want to be able to progress with body cameras, because that is one project that I wanted to take on, and I feel like we definitely need it. So
when we get.
Anybody have any questions?
We're working
Alderman Gotch.
Bring that up in correspondence.
yes.
Alderman Gotch.
Where will this be located over there?
So where our old evidence room is, right next to the court department hallway and everything, it's right against the end of the police department hallway going into the court department. So the door going into that video room will be on the court department's hallway. I've met with Ms. Torres, she's fine with that, and it will help them so that they're not traveling through the police department at all to go view anything that they'll need to see as far as the judge, defense attorneys, and prosecutors. So it's a win-win for both. That pretty much we'll just share that room with them when they're needing it, and they don't have to access the police department or anything, so it's beneficial.
After they bring you back numbers.
Thank you. I was just curious where
Yes,
that
sir.
was gonna be.
Anyone else have any questions? Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
We sure do appreciate it. Thank you for the information. Mr. Campbell is here, we don't need any kind of motion. All right, we're down to number 7, citizens' remarks. Mr. Egner, I hate to say about 30 minutes.
That's all right, it
But
won't
no.
take that long.
Oh, okay, because I just want to explain to everybody that I have to leave at 6:45. And we didn't know till just a few moments ago, well, about 2 or 3 hours ago, 2 of the aldermen weren't gonna be here. So if I leave, Alderman Klein's mayor pro temp, but if he comes up here, at least 3, and that's not, they gotta meet the legal requirements of a quorum. So it's all yours, Mr. Egner.
That's okay.
Thank you.
I appreciate that explanation.
Yes, sir.
On the November 7th Board of Aldermen meeting, I brought up the subject of park and city use, and it was ended with the statement that the city attorney would take that chore on to write something up. And I just would like to know if there's any progress on that. In addition, I would have to remind you that in the 2021 municipal election, both the Democrats and the Republicans held events in Latimer Park. On the weeks prior to June 24th, 2023, which was 2 years later, a permit was requested and approved, and some days later called and withdrawn because the city's no longer allowing political events in the park. So somewhere during that time, the rules changed. And I don't know if you want to call them the rules or park regulations, ordinance. I don't know exactly what title that falls under. But somewhere in that time, that changed. And I would just like to know, what are the regulations right now, and what progress is being made toward rewriting?
Have you had a chance to work on this?
I'm not rewriting any ordinances yet, Mayor, but I have made some progress on what you asked me to do a couple of meetings ago, but I have not completed it yet. That's right.
Is it possible to get a copy of what the rules and regulations are right now?
Sure, yeah.
Well, I've asked for them twice and ain't got them.
You've asked me?
I asked the mayor and I asked the parks director.
Well, I mean, all of our ordinances are online, so.
I looked them up, I couldn't find it. If you could help me with finding that.
What are you looking for now? Park rules?
Well, I read a lot of information with regard to, I tried to find park rules. I tried to find city property use regulations, and I couldn't find anything specifically prohibiting political events. I know at one time, a couple of years ago, we had a political event right here in City Hall. I don't know who approved that.
I think you're talking about when Senator Cochran came.
No, this was prior to the municipal elections. So this again was several years ago, 2021, in that range. And so somewhere in those 2 years, policy on this particular issue changed. And I'd just like to know is that a word of mouth change? Does that have to be a written document change? And if I schedule the park for a family reunion, shouldn't I get a do's and don'ts regulations for that at the park? You know, I mean, I think something's in writing somewhere.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been able to get a copy of it, so it's gotta be out there.
Mr. Campbell, when you complete your thing, will you let us know? And in the meantime, would you like for Miss Leslie at the Parks Department, or would you be willing to look and see about these and contact Mr. Egan?
I will. I'll look, Mayor, and I'll probably follow up with Parks before I contact Mr. Egan.
You have his number?
It's right there on it.
Yes, we've got it.
Right here, all right. Anybody have any questions or concerns for Mr. Egan? Alderman Goddard.
I'm not familiar of any, I could be wrong, but I'm not familiar with anything in writing that says you can't have a political event, because we've had political events here, we've had debates, we've had other things, and to me, those are political events. So I don't think it's unreasonable for any citizen to be able to go and find the rules of what they can and can't do, and it doesn't need to be, whatever we decide as a city and a board on what to do with this, it needs to be in writing so everybody knows it. So, I know there's stuff about not having political stuff at a polling place, but to me, there's question about when is a place a polling place and when is it not. I've seen people come in here to pay their utility bill with political hats on and other stuff, so I think it definitely needs to be clarified, whatever we decide.
I think a lot of that is pretty clear, I think, and I might be looking at it wrong, because some of it is like, how do you interpret it? Yeah. What I'm interpreting, it seems to be fairly clear to me, but it might not be clear to Mr. Egan or somebody else out here. They might read it differently than I read it. So, Mr. Campbell, you're gonna, when you check into this, you're gonna take into consideration the remarks by all you guys?
Yes.
Alderman Young. Alderman Dupree.
Oh.
I got 5 minutes.
I really got something to talk about.
Good, y'all wait the next meeting.
So my idea is, Democrat or Independent. None in the city park.
Save that for a different night. We'll get into that after I complete what I'm gonna complete.
Okay? All right. Anybody else have any comment? All right, thank you, Mr. Higgins.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. George.
I'll wait till next.
No, you got, is that about the property?
No, it's about something else. I can wait.
You sure?
Yeah, I can wait till next meeting. No problem.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right, Mayor, Alderman correspondence, I have mentioned about Ms. Johnson and Alderman Bledsoe. Please remember them in your prayers. And I hope everybody's getting ready for a big Christmas. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, stayed healthy, your family and friends healthy. Alderman Klein, did you have anything, sir?
No, just ditto there, Mayor.
Alderman Bledsoe, Alderman Dupree.
I'm good. Thank you very much.
Alderman Young.
Yes, sir, I do. Mr. Billy, were you able to find that fireworks ordinance?
I did.
And it states,
Sell dates start on December 20th, and you can have your tent up 3 days prior to sell date, so it can go up on December 17th.
so they can go up on December 17th, they can start setting the tents up. So we don't need to adjust. Okay? That's what it was, because the way it was reading, we were concerned about the Christmas and New Year, or Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, individuals having to work to put up their tents or whatever. I wouldn't want to do that, I know they didn't. So all of them get set up as early as the 17th. And do that, thank you. Second thing is, and then I'll shut up, we got a bill from Shelter Planners of America last week for $20,000 for 22 pages of numbers. But yet Shelter Planners of America tells us he can't give us a detailed cost analysis of what he has billed us nearly $300,000 for. But he can bill us for something that is exactly what we're asking for about what he has done. So I still say that we need to can his butt and get somebody that knows what they're doing, because he's doing nothing, in my opinion, except raping this city. Almost $300,000 we will never see.
When did you get that?
That's what we got last board meeting.
Oh, that's the same thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, it's 22 pages. He billed us $20,000 for 22 pages of something he says he can't do when we request, that I've been requesting for over 2 months now, of an itemized listing of what he is billing us for. And his answer was, well, the contract says I can bill you for this. Well, in my world, that's nothing more than I want to hide behind something. So I still think he's just raping this city. We're taking $300,000 out of our general fund, and I can't tell you, if anybody can tell you what we spend it on.
Very good points. Very, very good points. Holler at me tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
I got some questions about that, but that could be public. I just running out of time. Alderman Geist, do you have anything, sir?
At the next board meeting, I've already requested that all that be presented.
Okay, all that.
I've got all of it.
You've got all the numbers of everything he's billed us for.
Yeah.
Why did he tell us that he couldn't provide that?
He told me he has. It's, we'll get into it.
We'll get into it next time.
Yeah, this will be.
But is that, okay, but this is very, very, very important to everybody, especially to you two gentlemen, so. It will be on the agenda. Mr. Jim?
Yes, I already wrote it down.
All right, thank you, sir.
I've already requested.
Oh, thank you, sir. All right. Mr. Campbell, do you have anything, sir?
I do not, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Box?
No.
Mr. Andrew, you have anything?
No, sir.
Ms. Leslie from the Parks Department?
Yes, real quick, I just want to invite everybody to the Christmas tree lighting on Saturday, right after the parade. We'll have the Optimus Club, they're doing, hot chocolate, and I think a sorority, LaShonda's sorority is doing cookies, and you're also doing, Santa pictures too. And so, right after the parade, we'll just have it there, we'll have a tent, and, American's Tent, they're actually providing a tent for us, we're very fortunate for that, and, after we do the tree, then there'll be, Carolyn from the high school, and we'll do some ornament decorating for the
Oh,
kids.
and by the way,
Parade's back on.
it's back on Friday unless it rains.
Saturday.
Saturday, whatever Saturday. And, yeah, Saturday, that's right, yeah. Let's hope it doesn't. But if you haven't seen the Christmas tree at the park, guess what it's got on it today?
What?
Ornaments. It looks like a Christmas tree. Go by and look at it. Beautiful. They did an awesome job. Awesome job. Thank you, Mr. Box.
You're welcome, sir. I don't know if we're quite finished. We've been putting a ton of ornaments on there.
They're not working now?
Huh?
They're not finished?
All right, but just to clarify something, when I left the meeting this morning, this wasn't the plan.
Right.
So it is,
We're back on Saturday, original plans, unless they call it Friday. I believe that was Friday at noon.
Friday at noon.
At noon, they're gonna, if it,
It's
because
still
it looks like it's coming in later, they keep pushing it back, then, and if not, and if for some reason we go away, we will have the Christmas tree lighting on Tuesday night. That's all we'll have is the Christmas tree lighting. Unless you have a float, you can still bring your float out there and showcase the float. So,
well,
that's where we're
great.
at currently.
That's great. Please come out, support the parade, support the city. Mr. Glenn, do you have anything, sir?
I did ask for 2 checks to be brought to today's docket, one for $15 from Hollywood Feed and another one for $8 from another zone. I didn't see that it made it, but I was hoping the board could approve it.
Mayor, I make a motion to approve those donations.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis, a second by Alderman Dupree. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein?
Aye.
Alderman Geis? Alderman Dupree? Alderman Young?
Aye.
Motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. Mr. Vance, did you have anything, sir?
No, sir, not this time, Mayor.
Chief, did you?
No,
Chief-
sir.
Chief Limble?
No, sir.
Chief Limble got it? All right. Chief Fuller?
No, sir.
Did I miss somebody?
I make a
Mr.
motion.
Jim, I almost forgot Mr. Jim.
No, I do not, but I just don't want people to think I'm listening to a game. But I'm listening to the South Haven board meeting just to see if they have any discussion on Pepper Chase.
Make the motion.
We have a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Yeah.
Second by Alderman Young. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young?
Aye.
Alderman Dupree? Alderman Geis? Alderman Klein?
All right. Motion carries 4 in favor, 3 absent. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned. Sorry for the rapid pace of the meeting. Thank you.